How did your preliminary task and first thriller sequence task challenge or conform to thriller conventions? The thriller conventions in our movie, we have two clear characters opposing each other. One's the interviewer and one's the interviewee, and there's a definite line between them. We didn't use any low key lighting, but we used rich colors, and we used a lot of jump cuts in the original footage. But then we still got a few, but we had to take a few out to show continuum. We've used music to show suspense, and we did have some. We've got diegetic and non-diegetic sound in there. Some music at the start. Yeah, the protagonist is, in somewhat at the mercy of the antagonist in the fact that they're being interviewed, and then the interviewer has all the power. We had the heartbeat, which would be the diegetic sound, but we edited that out just due to sound quality reasons. We used a variety of different shots. We used some close-ups. We used over-the-shoulder shots. We used a 180-degree turn to show that also showed suspense and point of view as well. We incorporated the mise-en-scene in the movie with the use of props like makeup and hairstyles to show like sweat or nervousness. How does your first thriller sequence task and preliminary task engage audiences, and how effective is it? Well, at the start, it's a man waiting for an interview, and most people know what it feels like to wait for a job interview, and we got the music playing to entertain the audience. We incorporated suspense in our movie by the use of music and props to show that the person being interviewed is very sweaty and very nervous, and the way he acts engages the audience because they all know that feeling of being really nervous for something or slightly worried. Evaluate how your production skills have developed through the first thriller sequence and your preliminary task. The editing in our preliminary task was a lot better than the editing in our first thriller sequence, the brief chase. The first thriller sequence, we had a number of issues with the white balance, as it was too bright in the ISO feature. We hadn't sussed it out, but we've sorted that out for Juan Chance, the second movie, the preliminary task. So it's a lot better, and there's notable visual improvements. Evaluate what you have learned from using cameras, editing software, and equipment so far. So far, we've learned to achieve the optimum image quality by adjusting the ISO feature on the camera and making sure that the white balance is alright. In the preliminary task, we did have a few focusing issues. We also had a few focusing problems in the thriller sequence, but we're working on that. We're getting that sorted. Just a bit of cameraman work needed. We've learned a lot about editing, and we like looping sound. The editing is really sharp and slick compared to our first movie, and the jump cuts are good, and the looping of sound. And we've learned how to use appropriate sound effects, like for example, show suspense in our preliminary task. Personally, I think our movie is effective in captivating the audience, engaging them, just due to how relatable it is to most people's lives. Most people have been in this situation, as I said, and yeah, thank you.